Good evening. Tourists visiting Scotland from the summer of 2026 will be hit by a new tax, the visitor levy. It'll be introduced first in Edinburgh, where councillors expect to raise £50 million a year by charging an extra 5% each night on the cost of overnight accommodation in hotels, B&Bs and short-term lets. So a £100 a night room would cost £105, with that extra fiver going into the council's coffers. Vanessa Kennedy reports.
Even on a freezing January day, Edinburgh is still a tourist hotspot. But for those staying overnight in the capital, it will soon cost them a little more in the form of Scotland's first ever visitor levy.
I think it's ridiculous because, we need all the tourists we can get to keep the economy going.
It wouldn't faze me. I think if it's not a huge amount, people won't be afraid to pay it.
Well, I understand why they're doing it because Edinburgh receives so many tourists.
The council's finalised plans mean visitors who come to the city and stay in hotels, B&Bs and properties let through websites such as Airbnb will be charged 5% of the cost of the accommodation, capped at 5 consecutive nights, with campsites and caravans also being included. The scheme will apply to overnight stays from the 24th of July next year or booked and paid for visits on or after the 1st of May this year. While cities like Paris, Berlin and even Manchester have similar schemes, the council says this is the first of its kind and that it will generate up to £50 million for the city.
My hopes for this scheme is to improve the visitor experience vastly, whether it's making sure that the city is clean and the inevitable extra cleansing that needs to happen as a consequence, or that graffiti are removed so that the city is looking at its best.
But those in the hospitality sector say the levy is another expense in an already expensive destination.
This is not just for international visitors. So if you go to Edinburgh for whatever reason, whether it's visiting your kids at university or staying overnight to go to see a show for the Fringe, etc., or indeed on business, you'll be paying the 5%. And for those that think that it happens elsewhere in Europe, that's all very well. Elsewhere in Europe, they don't pay 20% VAT. So you're now going to be paying 25% on top of every single stay.
We obviously don't want visitors to be deterred, so we're pleased that the council has kept the percentage at 5%. But if it was increased beyond that, then it would start to put visitors off potentially.
The council says it will be open with the public about exactly what the money will be spent on, and says Edinburgh residents will also have a say. The final details will be decided later this month. Vanessa Kennedy, STV News, Edinburgh.